In the last 48 hours, both OpenAI and Anthropic dropped their newest coding models, GPT-5.3 Codex and Claude Opus 4.6. But here's the thing, guys. Instead of just reading some benchmarks, I want to walk you through some use cases and compare both of these tools side by side with the same prompts, but I'm pretty sure we are going to be getting different results. I mean, guys, just take this as an example, okay? This game that we created, and guys, just take a look at this. Just check this out, okay? Both are insane, but do scales tip in one favor? I'll break everything down in today's video, guys. I'm putting both models through the same tests to see how they actually perform, okay? We'll look at what the benchmarks say, then build a fighter game, a travel application, and also a portfolio website with identical prompts, guys. And if you want all of the prompts that we are going to be using in today's video, guys, plus a community with over 14,000 members, then what you need to do is join our free school community, guys. The link is down in the description below, guys. But right now, let's dive into this topic just a little bit more, okay? So, Anthropic drops Claude Opus 4.6. Then OpenAI responds with GPT-5.3 Codex. Literally just a few minutes later. The timing alone tells you everything about how these AI companies are watching each other. And guys, let's break down what's actually new in each of these models, okay? So Claude Opus 4.6 comes with a 1 million token context window. So that's the first time that we are seeing this in an Opus model, which means it can handle absolutely massive code bases. It also has 128k token output. So it can write longer, it has more complete code in a single response, and also, guys, Claude introduces adaptive thinking. So this model automatically decides how deeply to reason based on the task and through the API, guys. Developers can also manually set reasoning effort with 4 different levels. So that is the low, medium, high, and also the max. But here's where it gets so interesting, okay? So Claude now has agent teams. So these are multiple Claude instances working together in parallel. So they have shared task lists. They actually message each other and they can self-coordinate on complex projects. So if you just heard that, and if you know exactly what I'm talking about, then you will know that that is a game changer for enterprise work. Anthropic also claims better code review capabilities. It catches its own mistakes more effectively, and that is insane, guys. And the focus is clear, guys. Enterprise, knowledge work, large code bases. Now, let's take a look at GPT 5.3 Codex, okay? So the first thing is it's 25% faster than GPT 5.2 Codex. And I mean, guys, that is significant when you are iterating pretty quickly. Tokens efficiency is way better this time, and also OpenAI says that it achieves the same quality output with significantly fewer tokens than any of the prior Codex models. And guys, there's real-time steering, and that has to probably be my favorite feature, guys. And you can interact and you can guide while it's working, which is another one of my favorites. Now, guys, there's no more waiting for the completion to give you feedback. You can just ask questions mid-process and you can adjust the direction on the fly. And guys, it's similar to Claude's adaptive thinking, but GPT has reasoning effort. So you can decide how much reasoning you want to use. And you've got 4 effort levels here. You got low, medium, high, and also max, guys. So it saves tokens on simple tasks and it goes deep on the complex ones. The focus here is clearly on speed, iteration, and development workflow. And guys, now we need to talk about benchmarks, okay? So on Terminal Bench 2.0, GPT 5.3 Codex scores 77.3%. Claude Opus 4.6 scores 65.4%. So that's a significant lead for Codex. And I mean, guys, on the SWE bench, both perform pretty similarly. And when it comes to the context window, Claude wins with that 1 million token capacity. But the speed, when it comes to speed, then Codex wins at 25%. But benchmarks only tell part of the story. So let's see how they actually build, okay? Okay, guys, so for the first test, I'm actually going to be having both models build a King of Fighters style fighting game, okay? I'm going to be using the exact same prompt, and guys, I want to see what happens, okay? So let's take a look at Claude's result. So from what we can see, guys, right away, you can see that this looks polished, okay? The characters have proper faces and also characteristics with speed, power, and defense metrics for every character. Visually, guys, this looks super complete. So let me play through around quick. Okay, so from what I can see, the gameplay is pretty smooth. The controls are definitely responsive, and this actually feels like a real game. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty cool. But guys, watch what happens when I beat the computer, okay? There you can see, guys, the computer dies, and nothing. No windscreen, no nothing. The game literally just ends abruptly, and that's a pretty significant bug if you ask me. And yeah, you're actually missing the final payoff moment, the moment that you worked for the entire game. It's now gone. So now, guys, let's take a look at GPT 5.3 Codex, okay? Let's take a look at what it built. So, okay, this does look more bare bones, and the characters do look more generic. It's kind of like when you play WWE 2K and you have that creator model, everything just looks so bland and generic. This is basically what I'm seeing here. They don't really have proper faces or characteristics. It's functional, but I mean, it kind of feels just like a placeholder. So let's play through this one quickly. Okay. I mean, for being honest, the combat system, it works, but the thing is, it's basic. You would get bored of this so quickly. And okay, so let's watch what happens. I mean, guys, take a look at that. I was about to say, let's take a look at what happens, but there, the character just flies off the screen. And I'm pretty sure that that's not supposed to happen. So this is literally just coming across as unfinished, okay? So guys, here's the final verdicts on the game. So Claude definitely wins. It's more polished, it has better visuals, better character design by far, and overall, a more complete game. Like, I mean, if we're being straightforward, both of them do have bugs, but Claude's missing windscreen is much less game-breaking than random characters just flying off of the screen. But guys, let's see how they handle a different kind of project, okay? So we really want to test these out. So for test 2, I'm going to have both of them build a travel agent web app, okay? So I'm going to be using the same prompt again, and now it needs to search functionality, recommendations, and also booking interface, okay? So let's take a look, okay? Here's what Claude built. So immediately, from what I can see, this is actually super impressive. As you can see, guys, the UI is clean, the search works smoothly. You got destination recommendations that actually make sense. The booking interface is actually intuitive, and yeah, everything feels professional on this one. Okay, so let's click through a few features and see. Yeah, that's pretty solid. Okay, features are complete. It's a good user experience. Okay, I like this. So now let's see what Codex built. Okay, so this is also pretty impressive. It's a totally different design, but it's functional, which is basically what we want. The search is super fast, the recommendations are relevant, the booking flow actually makes sense, and okay, let's test this out quick. Okay, yeah, that works as well. Okay, so the key thing that we can notice here, guys, is that both do pretty amazing. Claude's approach is more traditional and expected from what we put in. Codex has a slightly different aesthetic, but both absolutely nailed the functionality. So for a travel app, you could use either one and be happy with the result, but guys, I started noticing something interesting in the next test, and I want to show you guys this. So for the third test, guys, I actually built a portfolio landing page website, okay? So again, same prompt on both of them, and I actually wanted to focus on design and aesthetics over here. So let's take a look at the result that Claude gave, okay? So here we go, guys. You can see it's professional, it's a clean layout, it's a good typography, solid color scheme. But the thing that I noticed immediately was that it's very expected. It's kind of like what you thought you would get. There's no surprise whatsoever. It's the kind of design that you would see on thousands of portfolio sites. And I mean, it's pretty safe choices, it's predictable, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, a bit of surprise goes a long way. But now, guys, let's take a look at what Codex built, okay? So, as you can see, guys, this is interesting. It's a different layout, but look at the color scheme. just look at the style choices that it made. And guys, now let me pull up the travel app that Codex built earlier. Okay, guys, there. Do you see that? It's the same color palette. It's the same design. The Codex is developing a consistent style across the projects. And I mean, you can see that clearly over here. So this is the pattern. And Claude makes reliable, professional, expected designs. Codex develops its own consistent aesthetic and it carries it across multiple projects. So neither is honestly better, but they are just basically different approaches. So it does depend on what you are looking for. So if you want predictable professionalism, then Claude is basically your choice. But if you want consistent brand identity across multiple projects, then maybe Codex might be better for you. Okay guys, so now let's talk about what all this actually costs, okay? So Claude Opus 4.6 pricing works kind of like this, okay? For standard use under the 200,000 tokens, you are paying the same as Opus 4.5. But if you want to use that massive 1 million token context window, the price actually doubles once you cross the 2,000 tokens mark, okay? So feeding it huge code bases gets pretty expensive pretty fast. GPT-5.3 Codex doesn't have official API pricing yet since it's still rolling out. But here's what matters, okay? Codex uses significantly fewer tokens to do the exact same work. We are talking about 40 to 50,000 tokens versus 100,000 in previous versions, okay? So even if the per token price is similar, you are still using less tokens overall, which is pretty good. So, and I mean guys, that really adds up. So based on the 3 projects that we just built, here's what I noticed, okay? The game took Claude about 100,000 tokens, so did Codex. The travel app that Claude created used roughly about 15,000 tokens and Codex used about 10,000. So over time, that token efficiency makes Codex slightly cheaper for your projects. But if you need that 1 million token context for massive code bases, then Claude's the only option right about now until we know the pricing on the other side. So which one do you think you will actually use? Drop your comments down below. So guys, like I just said, which one are you planning on using? Both models are incredibly capable. Claude produced more polished visuals and won the game development test. It delivers consistent professional results. Codex was faster, now that's a good thing to mention, and also developed design consistency across projects. So if you are a brand, maybe that's where you want to lean towards. It's better for certain workflows, but both of them basically have their bugs. No model is perfect at the end of the day. Your choice depends on what you are building, okay? So use Claude Opus 4.6 when you are working with large code bases and you need that 1 million token context window, guys. When you need agent teams for complex coordination, then use GPT-5.3 Codex when the speed really matters and you want to get everything done fast. When you are building multiple related projects and you want consistent designs, then go for Codex. For certain development workflows, that is where Codex shines. And I mean guys, the honest take, we are in an incredible time for AI coding. The competition between these labs benefit all of us, okay? So both models will keep improving over time. Test them out yourself with your specific cases, okay? And then come back to this video and let us know what you discovered. So now, what I didn't show you in this video is how to actually prompt these models to get the best results every single time, because the same prompt can give you wildly different outputs depending on how you structure all of it at the end of the day. So I've documented all of our prompting techniques, guys, plus the exact prompts from today's test in the free school community, guys. Guys, we've got builders in there testing these models daily, sharing what works and what doesn't, and there's so much to learn and there's so much to enjoy right over there, guys. Guys, the link is in the description below. Go and join us today, guys. I can't wait to see you over there, guys. It's completely free and you'll level up your AI coding game immediately. So guys, go and check it out. I can guarantee you, you are going to love it. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one.